Hey everybody! So today I have a special guest with us today. Y'all met my husband before, Raymond Smith. Um, and we just wanted to share something a little personal with you guys. So we're going to talk about our children's health issues and how God helped us, during the times where they were dealing with the issues head on. Today we're going to talk about our son, Raymond Josiah Smith. And he is now 3 years old. He was diagnosed at birth with, or was it at birth? Was it at birth? Well, I think so. Well, anyway, they noticed at birth that there was an issue with his heart, and then of course they did some tests and they figured out that he had tetralogy of Fallot. So I'm just going to tell you real quick what that is. So it's a heart defect that features four problems: a hole between the lower chambers of the heart, an obstruction from the heart to the lungs, the aorta lies over the hole in the lower chambers, and the muscle surrounding the lower right chamber becomes overly thickened. Um,
he had a hole in his heart, and he wasn't getting enough air to his heart.
He wanted to simplify
due
for y'all.
to the hole that was in the heart.
Okay. I just wanted to give like a more in-depth explanation. I know some people, like you say, oh, he has tetralogy of Fallot. He has a hole in his heart. Okay, well, what's wrong? So I just wanted to, I guess, give a little more detailed explanation. But yeah, my husband wanted to keep it short and simple. But yeah, that's pretty much was it. And this was crazy for me. It was hard because I was like, I already have a history in my family of heart murmurs. My father has one and my brother has one. From what I know, my father never had, heart surgery. And my mother would not let my brother get heart surgery. So when I found this out, I was just like, I felt like, is this a curse, Lord? Like, do we have a curse on us and we're saved? Like, why? I just kind of didn't get it. And so yeah, when they said that, for me, I was just trying to pray against it. I was like, I wanted to have faith because I did not want him to have to get heart surgery. How did you feel when you got the
news? First found out, I was surprised. It did sound like it was like some type of generational thing that was just being passed down. I did find my comfort after a little while because I knew that God was going to use it in some way. I wasn't sure exactly how or when or where, but throughout the journey, He definitely used the tetralogy of Fallot for His glory, and I guess we'll expound on that later. But I was a little surprised. I was like, cause it's my little man, and I was like, okay, he might have my genes. My family got perfect genes. Perfect genes. But I was surprised. It kind of hit me with one of those, you never know it's going to be your kid or somebody that you know or somebody that's real close to you that something's going to happen to. Mm-hmm. But, I had one of those moments, but we got past it very well. So.
Yeah, it took me, I feel like it took me a moment to get, I know God helped us get through it, but just thinking about all the feelings that I had going through that, when we went to do a second test, like just to make sure, this is what it is, and this, this procedure has to happen. They wanted to do the heart surgery at 3 months old. And see, and when I feel like it's so hard when it's like your little baby, and you can't, I felt like, I guess, defenseless in a sense. I couldn't do anything for him. And he's so little, and I'm like, he's got to go through this type of trauma, and he can't even express how he feels. You just gotta, I just was feeling a lot. And when we sat down and we spoke with the doctor, I remember just like zoning out. Like I was just staring at him. It was crazy because I was angry. I was like angry at what he was saying. Like it's not even his fault, but I was angry.
I remember some of the things he was saying. One of the things that I still remember to this day, he looked at us and he was like, "Your son's not going to live another 3 months." That's something I specifically. Yeah, and I was like, "You must not know who God is." First off.
Yeah.
And I remember me and Chanel were talking as he was talking to us and letting us know, statistically what happens with these type of heart issues. I remember talking to Chanel as he was talking. I was like, well, we need to pray about this. And he was basically, we were at the meeting. He was basically trying to get the go-ahead to start the surgery immediately. So we couldn't wait 12 hours or the next day or the day after that. We had to give him an answer then and there. So we had to, pray and then kind of give our answer kind of there. But I 100% believe that God gave us our answer as we were praying, and the answer was to go ahead with the surgery.
Yeah, and I literally had to just trust that he heard from God because I was not settled. I'm just gonna be honest. I was too much in my emotions to be settled. To really hear God in that moment. Because this was just like the scariest thing for me. And if anybody knows me, they know I have the tendency to overthink things. So I'll just be so in my head, and then I definitely was. I still was growing as far as how I think mentally and things like that. So that day I was just like, what? What? But let's fast forward to him.
Well, actually,
the day. Oh, what do you want to say?
After that, even though we made the decision while we were there, I still kind of I had that moment with Gideon where he had to put his fleece outside and he wanted to see what God would do with it. So I had that kind of night where I prayed again, and I was like, if we wake up in the morning and I feel different, we're just not going to the hospital, and we'll be 100% fine. But God, I believe He confirmed it again that night, and obviously I believe that God could have healed him even that night. I believe God could have healed him when we were talking to the gentleman, the surgeon, which was actually one of the top surgeons in the District of Columbia. But God still said go ahead with the surgery. So I was like, you know what, let's just do it.
Do you remember the name of the hospital? It was Children's Medical Center, I think.
Children's Hospital.
Children's Hospital, yeah. And I think he was doctor. I want to say his name was Nicholas.
Nah,
I can't remember for sure. I thought it was something like that. But, yeah, so I guess we can fast forward to the day of having, to go get the surgery. Now, we lived all the way in Fredericksburg. And like you said, it was in D.C. So we had to travel all the way to D.C. and
multiple times.
Yeah, didn't they set up? I think they set up the Ronald McDonald House for the same day. Like that was nothing but God, because we were like,
well, first off, we asked the social worker at the hospital, and she was like, "Yeah, there's no openings at the Ronald McDonald House. Mm-hmm. You guys are just gonna have to travel to Fredericksburg to here every day." And she had looked again for us, like out of the blue, and she was like, "You know what? One room just opened," and we were like, "That's crazy."
That was nobody.
Because if you know anything about the Ronald McDonald House, it's funded by McDonald's, which is Ronald McDonald, and they have a huge. It's almost like a hotel, but it's like a house feel. So there's a whole bunch of rooms upstairs where people can stay for free. Mm-hmm. They get free food, free gifts, free everything for people that kind of either live far away or don't have the funds to live. It's mainly for people that don't have the funds to just stay in a hotel or things of that nature. And we were blessed enough to get actually in one of the rooms. And I believe that's another thing that God wanted us to do, because we were around people that were just down and out. They were hopeless. Mm-hmm. because these people have their loved ones in the hospitals as well. So we were, able to minister to them, even when God was doing things with us, things with us and our son.
Yeah.
That was one of the best parts of just going through, and that's looking back, that's how I knew, that this was God ordained. This is what God wanted us to do, and just ministering to people that were lost and hopeless and thought their loved ones were gonna, perish and die. It was a great feeling to be able to just say something that uplifted them and stuff like that.
Yeah, just thinking about that, because some people had to stay longer than others, like after the cancer surgery or whatever, just the condition caused them to have to stay longer. And, some people, were in worse, their loved ones were in worse conditions than others. And I guess just being around all that can make you feel like, Lord, please just keep my baby. Like this, and not to be selfish, but it can feel a little bit scary. But like I said, like he said, he believes it was God ordained, and I do too. And I just thank God for keeping my mind through that, because I really did feel like the enemy was going to use that to try to make me lose my mind. But God definitely kept me through that all. I feel like, even through just his provision, even when they came and they told us this was so helpful. The guy was just like, I just want you to be prepared before we, see him after surgery with, how he's kind of going to look like. He's going to be hooked up to these machines and different things like that. So I was like, okay, let me just envision what I think he's going to look like so I can be prepared when I walk in there. You know what I'm saying? And that helped,
Were you envisioning what he might look like?
Yeah, with all I was trying to picture, okay, he's going to have X, Y, Z.
I didn't do none of that.
So it didn't.
I just walked in there.
Dang, you didn't.
I don't see how you can envision something like how
from movies, we just watch so much stuff, and I just pictured, even I can see everything specifically, his face, just a little tiny body with tubes and different, or whatever. I just try to envision that, and I feel like it helped ease me a little bit going in. But when they take your baby like that is hard, because when he was born, first of all, I didn't even want nobody coming in there to, they come and get your baby in the middle of the night to give them little shots and do this and do that, whatever, little prick in the foot, all that different stuff that they do. I didn't even want them taking my babies out the room for that, and it's something simple. It's not a surgery. So yeah, when they came to take him, I was just like trying to just pray and just keep my calm. And I'm not saying this to make anybody fear. Truly, it is the grace of God that I did. Like I said, I did not lose my mind. I did not lose hope. It made me fight mentally. It caused me to push myself to be in a place of worship, to push myself to keep praying, to push myself to keep having my faith is nothing like my husband. This man, I mean, he'll just leap whoo, I'm one of them people that are trembling the whole way, so it's a little bit harder for me, but God definitely, helped us to get through it.
Yeah, it was a great time, and what made it not necessarily worse, but it was around Christmas. I think he had surgery the 17th of December or something like that. And I remember being in the Ronald McDonald House, and I was like, man, how can I cheer my wife up that's going through such a tough time? So I remember around the corner there was a Five Below. So I went over there and spent a little bit of money on some Christmas gifts, real small stuff. I remember we had a little Christmas tree. It was actually literally this size,
right?
In the Ronald McDonald. It was a Christmas tree this size, because that's all I could afford, to be honest. So we put this up. We had some things on the wall or something like that, and I gave her a little gift or two. So that was a fun Christmas.
Yeah, but no, that really little stuff like that really did help. And before I talk about some more stuff that we did to kind of help us during that time, I did want, and I know we're getting a little bit emotional, but I guess for a men's perspective, I want us to both tell how we felt when we actually walked in the room and we saw him for the first time.
So I remember walking in the room. It was cold because you're in a hospital, and you're more secluded because you're in like a special type of, just came out of surgery type of room. So I remember being real cold. I remember walking to him. He would sleep at the time, and he would wake up and just go to sleep throughout the whole time. When his eyes would wake up, when he would wake up and his eyes would open, his eyes were like cross-eyed. So I was like, okay, so I hope he's not gonna stay this way, because I would be pissed. Oh my God, I'll be mad. Because you don't want to be light-skinned and cross-eyed because it just looks weird. But, no, I'm just playing. But he was a little cross-eyed, and I was just praying. I was like, Lord, please don't let this stay this way. Another thing I noticed, initially, he was kind of bloated because all the fluids that were being pumped into his body. So just seeing that, and then seeing all of the wires connected to him, like there was a wire everywhere, probably on his heart, on his legs, on his arms, on his neck, on his head. He had wires up here. Yeah. Like he had wires pretty much everywhere in his body. So seeing that, and that's your son, your little man, it hit hard. But what got me through it was remembering. It's almost like God's promise. Like he told me that everything will be okay, and to go through it, and to know that you'll help others. So, me, I like to help others. Going through it was, I'm not gonna say fun, but it was basically almost worth it for what we had to go through, just so we could help others. Because I really knew that my son was gonna be, 100% okay. So.
Yeah. Like I said, I had prepared my mind before we went in there. It was crazy to see him like that, but I think I was also just happy that he was okay, because so many things can go wrong in a surgery, and I'm just glad that God, kept him during that process. Yeah, I mean, it felt good when he opened his eyes and he was just looking at me like, that made me feel good. And we try to, feed him his milk and stuff like that. Definitely just wanted to you want to be there every step of the way, because these are random people around your child, and they mean the best. If they are good doctors, they mean the best, for your children. They're there to help. And that's something that I was told, while we were there, and that helped me. Like, they're there to give your child the best care. You know what I'm saying? Because it can be hard as a mama bear, when those mama bear instincts come and you just want to like shield. But I definitely had to just step back and just trust that God was keeping him and covering him. I mean, there was times where they come in there to keep taking his blood, and taking blood from a child is just hard in general, let alone a baby. And there was times where they had to keep coming in, and I was like, one time I was like, hey, y'all, we need a break, something. Y'all have to, and you need to be able to be vocal and speak up, because he's a baby. He can't speak for himself. He's in pain. Now, if he could speak, he'd probably be like, look, y'all gonna stop sticking me? He'd probably be upset, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely think it's important to be vocal if you feel like, something wrong is happening, or you just want to, give your child a break from all the pain, because he did just come out of surgery, and now you're coming and doing all this, and they had to put the G-tube down his throat because he when they tried to give him the little bottle, he wouldn't latch. And now, mind you, before this, he was breastfed. Um, but after the surgery and sticking the stuff down his throat, his left vocal cord, we found out ended up getting damaged. So it was just affecting him overall. I tried to nurse him again. I mean, we probably could have, but I tried to nurse him again and get him back. And it was not happening. That was another frustrating aspect, but he still conquered that later on. I found a trick because he had to take some medicine, and the medicine was sweet, and we had to put in that little, it's like a little baby bottle almost, yeah, with a little nipple on it. And I was like, okay. So I poured some of my breast milk in the little cup, because at this point, he had to get a second surgery. He had to get a G-tube placement because he was not drinking the milk. Yeah. So this is if your child ever gets like a G-tube, we don't have the machine anymore, but you would pretty much put your formula or your breast milk in here, and then this part would connect to the G-tube on the stomach to pump food to the baby. But yeah, so I took that little nipple and I filled it up with some of my breast milk, and I took like agave syrup and put it in the bottle. And when I tell you he latched to that thing, like I was like, oh.
But how long did it take for him to actually latch from the bottle? It took what? It took like
4 or 5 months.
6 months.
Yeah, after surgery.
He was on a G-tube, taking in milk to his stomach.
Yeah.
For 6 months.
Yeah.
And we had to every morning.
In the middle of the night, because the machine would beep, beep, beep if it ran out of milk, and I had
to feed him with the G-tube for 6 months.
And
I don't know about you, but those little G-tube things, they're kind of loud when they start beeping.
Oh, yes.
So we're in church having to feed this boy, and then it started beeping when the pastor is talking or when people are quiet. Everywhere we had to go, we had to just tug this thing around.
Yeah, in the car, we would have to have it, because he ate, every so often. So, yeah. And the milk, it's not like it goes really fast to your baby. Like, it's slowly feeding him. So you had to keep filling it up every time it ran out. Well, not every time it ran out, but every few hours. It still was a lot because he was 3 months at the time. So he still was, when you first have your baby, they're like, oh, breastfeed the baby every 2 hours. And then you spread it out a little bit, but it just wasn't enough.
I remember probably some of the worst things about this thing is air. And the air would just come through here with the milk. So at the end, he was always gassy. Mm-hmm. He'd be crying for hours.
Yeah.
And just because he was gassy, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was. But, I mean, when I think about it now, like, we got through all that. That's crazy. And there's no preparing for that. Because it just comes, it's like it came out of nowhere. We weren't expecting that, But just know whatever happens in your life, like, God is there. He's able to get you through it, He's your constant strength, Don't forget that. Don't get so overwhelmed with what's going on that you forget to seek Him in those hard times. We weren't promised like a life like it's going to be in heaven, or we're going to, go through some suffering and go through some pain, but on the other end, we come out stronger. And I definitely believe that I'm stronger mentally, like I'm stronger spiritually because of that. So it just was a blessing in and of itself. I did want to talk real quick, because I know it's getting kind of long. Something that helped me too. We were in the grocery store. This was before surgery, and just walking around, we ran into this lady, and I think she asked me, she was like, "Is there something I can pray for you for?" or something like that. She just sparked conversation with me, and I was like, okay. And then we're talking, and then I'm telling her about our son and what was going on, and she said, "I just believe that he's going to be I can't remember. Oh no. Oh, she said he's going to be strong and mighty and built up in the Lord." Like, she literally just like prophesied over our son right there. And I was like, first of all, this chick don't know me from nowhere. I don't even think I told her exactly what happened. I just said that he's got to go, through surgery or whatever. He's got to, do something. And she just said that. And I was like, okay, Jesus. It was just encouraging, though. I just wanted to share that because God, He has His way of encouraging you through it all to help you, And one more thing I wanted to touch on. I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but when you're if you ever have to go through this process where you're in the Ronald McDonald House or your child is in the hospital for a long period of time, be willing to trust God enough to take a break, because being in the hospital every day, day in and day out, it can be hard. It can weigh on you heavy. So what we did, we took a moment and we went out to the movies, and we went out.
What did we see?
I can't even remember, but it was fancy. It had the nice chairs and they reclined, and it was like really nice.
We see Despicable Me. I feel like we saw Despicable
Something
Me.
like that. Yeah, it was something.
Something funny.
Yeah. Yeah. See something. Have a good laugh. Do something, and then we went out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? And don't feel bad as a parent for doing that. You want to make sure that your mental space is in the right place, that you can really be, strong for your child, be the best you can be during this time, because although it's hard for you, they're the one really, taking the blows, physically and mentally, not just mentally, but physically. You, it's more so mentally, So yeah, take that moment to yourself so you can come back refreshed and be all you can be, for them and even for your family, who's struggling as well.
Yeah, I would say be available, because that's what almost gave me my high. Just being able to minister to others made me lifted me up. So just be available. What she said, take your mind off of some things. But being available for me, that was my high. So, and being able to minister to people that are down and out, there's like, almost no better feeling. I mean, because you minister to everybody, regardless if they're down and out or, on top of the world. But just being able to minister to the hopeless, that's a great feeling, to be able to be used.
Yeah. And I think that's so important what he said, not being so consumed with your issues that you can't be available to others. And also a good thing to do is if something like this ever happens to you, thank the doctors and everybody who helped. I'm pretty sure they deal with a lot of stress too, trying to take care, of your child as well, trying to help medically. I don't believe that that's like an easy job, to see person after person hurting and in pain. And yeah, you're there to help, but you're not perfect. I mean, you're not God. You know what I'm saying? You're just doing what you can and hoping that it works. Something we did was just get Christmas cards. We did something as simple as that, just to say thank you. And people they were like, y'all were like the nicest family here. They were saying that to us, and be respectful.
They probably say that, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I felt like they meant it. Be respectful, because some people that come in there, they're so frustrated and upset with what's going on that they're taking out on the doctors. Don't forget to be respectful. Don't forget to be kind to them. This is their job. It's not an easy job. Although it is their job, it's not easy. So just try to make it a comfortable space for everybody. That's what I would say. And that's pretty much it. Is there anything you want to touch on?
No.
Okay. Well, I just hope that, if any of you guys are going through anything and you similar to this and you want prayer, please feel free to comment down below. We would love to pray for you all, most definitely, and just encourage you all through whatever you may be going through. That was the whole purpose of making the video, not just to share with you what we went through, but to hopefully, just help and encourage others. So y'all be blessed. We love y'all, and take care.
Be out for that, but it's gonna be even more comfortable now. Awesome. Like, he looks so comfortable. Now he's gonna be like
Moving. You're moving.